Wow. So I'm not gonna lie, guys. This chapter is definitely something special. I mean, just think for the past 48 hours, I've been getting texts, I've been getting calls, I've been getting emails, grown men crying, people in their emotions. Oda really has the whole fan base in the fields, warm fuzzies all around. But before we get started on that, make sure you guys do me a solid, drop a like on that video. Make sure you subscribe, guys. It's the only way we're gonna grow the community, and we're this close to 500 subs. So make sure you hit that sub button, hit the notification bell because we drop videos on here all the time. And without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
Now, I love One Piece just as much as the next guy, and just like a lot of other people in the fan base, I believe that really the Law Flashback is gotta be in your top 3, right? But I'm not gonna lie, guys, after this chapter, I think the Kuma Flashback is definitely a contender. So the chapter picks up with Bonney and her crew making a name for themselves in the pirate world. We see that she tracks Kuma to a city. Obviously, she's gonna be looking for him because they haven't seen each other for years, right? But she tracks him down and the Marines are there to stop them. Now, side note here, Marines mention here that wherever the Bonney pirates go, they injure children and even old people, and they seem to think worse of them because of it. But we see that in the very next panel, that's obviously just Bonney using her fruit to turn the Marines into old people and babies alike, right? So I guess Bonnie's making an even worse rep for herself because of her fruit's ability. But we cut to Kuma here, and he is very aware that Bonney is tracking him, but of course he knows that they can't see each other, or else the deal that he made with Saturn, that's over. So Kuma pops himself away before Bonney can catch up to him. From here we cut to the East Blue, where a certain rookie pirate, namely Straw Hat Luffy, has just received his first 30 million berry bounty for beating the Arlong pirates. And this is making some pretty big news. We cut to the revolutionaries, where Dragon is telling Sabo that he's heading out. He's heading out to Logtown, and Sabo asks why, and Dragon's like, oh, no particular reason. But who's in charge there? We actually see that Captain Smoker is in charge of Logtown. So this is Otis setting up the fated meeting between Luffy, Smoker, and when Dragon comes in to save him. After that, we cut to the Whitebeard pirates, where Ace is ecstatic to show Jinbei that his little brother took down Jinbei's little brother. And that's a really cool dynamic that I guess we just never really considered, because Ace took down Jinbei, Luffy took down Arlong, and there's a parallel there that I think we've been ignoring for years, which is pretty cool. From here, we see Kuma reading the news, and to him, this is a very, very interesting turn of events, because who would have thought that Dragon's son became a pirate? Obviously, Dragon's father is a Marine, he's a revolutionary, and his son is a pirate. So the turn of events is pretty interesting. After that, we see the Bonney pirates creating an image for themselves. We see her put the lipstick on. Gyogyo showed her how to put on the lipstick to look like a grown woman, and we even see why she put the piece of jewelry under her left eye so that Kuma would be able to recognize her in the paper. From here, Kuma goes to Egghead Island, and it's looking a lot more like the Egghead Island that we know today. Vegapunk has gotten to work and has built up the entire place, but more importantly, he's built all the pacifistas. You have X6, X7, X8, X9. They're all here. They're all here, and Kuma's like, yo, this is a little unsettling. I mean, to see himself mass-produced like this, it's a little weird. But Kuma tells Vegapunk, listen, did you hear the news about Dragon's son? And to Vegapunk's surprise, he never realized that Luffy was Dragon's son. However, Kuma told him and he realized he just kind of dry snitched on his homie, but he figures since Vegapunk is also friends with Dragon, he might as well just talk about it because Vegapunk will have access to his memories before long anyways, so I guess it's justified. Not that him being sworn to secrecy matters in present day anyways, because Sengoku kind of yelled it from the rooftops during Marineford, so now everybody knows. From here we cut to Thriller Bark right after Luffy finished beating Gecko Moria, and the world government sent Kuma there to take in Straw Hat Luffy. Of course, after Gecko Moria fell, you know, they weren't taking any chances, so they sent Kuma right there. The entire Straw Hat pirate crew tells him to go to hell. Kuma's moment with Zoro still happens. He still pushes out Luffy's pain. Zoro still takes it, and Kuma is left impressed with the actions of the Straw Hat Pirates. I love what Oda's doing here because he's basically retelling the story from Kuma's perspective, and I mean, this is awesome. Up next, we go to the Sabaody archipelago, where Kuma actually receives his orders to return to Marine HQ because a date has been set for the execution of Porcus the Ace, and this obviously means that they're gonna go to war with the Whitebeard Pirates, so they're calling in all the warlords. After we see Kuma agree to return as soon as he can, we see that Kuma is in Sabaody archipelago because he's actually checking in on Bonney, and we see Bonney here eating in the restaurant just like we did 2 years ago, and Kuma is actually looking at Bonney through the window here. He's checking on her progress, and he says that this is the last time that he'll be able to see her face because the procedure that is going to happen with Vegapunk removing his consciousness and his humanity is going to happen soon. So he had to look on his daughter with his own eyes for the very last time. This is a super emotional panel. It's only about 3 panels, however, super duper emotional. But while that's happening, there is mayhem over at the human auction house. They say a pirate just hit a celestial dragon. Kuma goes to investigate. Yo, it's wild that nobody saw Kuma around this whole time. But Kuma goes over to investigate, only to find out that, of course, it's those guys again. It's the Straw Hat Pirates, and Luffy just knocked out St. Charlos to everybody's surprise, including Kuma's. And he says, listen, nobody has committed this act of treason in hundreds of years, let alone to protect a fishman. And we're so close to Navy HQ as well. This is practically suicide, and Kuma is astonished here. But of course, they send Kizaru to get all of the worst generation out of the Sabaody archipelago. And of course, we see that Kuma steps in, but we get some inner thoughts from him here. And he says that, listen, Dragon, I hope you can forgive me, but all I can do is leave my own quiet legacy on the world through Bonney and your son. And we see Luffy crying here because we remember in that moment, they thought Kuma was killing his crewmates, right? Like, they didn't realize that Kuma was just pushing them to different parts of the planet, but they actually thought that they were dying, and Luffy was absolutely distraught. Inside Kuma's head, he's saying, listen, you got it all wrong. All I can do is show you that you're not at the level to go to the new world yet. You and your friends aren't ready, but you have to survive and get stronger, and Kuma saved them in this moment. Now, we knew that as the reader, but we didn't have the context that Kuma is giving us now. So to see the tears on Luffy's face in this moment, we all remember exactly what happened. To see it come full circle is a huge, huge moment for the story. Kuma knows that someday Luffy will save the world. From here, we cut back to Egghead Island, and Vegapunk is in a heated argument with Saturn, who is now telling him to create a self-destruct mechanism for Kuma. And Vegapunk is not about this life at all. He's like, listen, you were the one that told me to make him into a weapon anyways. But Saturn's saying that if he were to go rogue somehow, then what would be able to stop him? And I think he's kind of looking at the insubordination between, you know, him pushing the Straw Hats away from Kizaru and not apprehending Straw Hat Luffy at the end of Thriller Bark. He's kind of looking at it like, listen, we've already had a couple of moments with this guy. We're not taking any more chances. Install the self-destruct device. Vegapunk then even tries to bargain with Saturn. He's like, if you want me to do that, fine, but at least let me keep a shred of his humanity. I even invented this cool circuit for the brain that allows you to switch between. And before he even finishes, Saturn cuts him off. He's like, listen, I don't want to hear any of that. I'm not interested. Erase all of his individuality completely and make sure there's no trace left behind. And remember, don't try to fool me. Don't try to backdoor me. I'm a scientist as well, so anything that you try will be absolutely not tolerated. Vegapunk gets off the phone and Kuma's laying down on the operating table, and he's like, wow, I'm glad to see how you feel, man. And Vegapunk's like, listen, I didn't even know you'd be able to hear me. And Kuma's like, you're the one that gave me superhuman hearing, dude. Like, what the hell? But Vegapunk mentions that it looks like after the procedure, your first assignment will be to go to war with the Whitebeard pirates. And he mentions that he has also been tasked to prep the pacifista to go to war with the Whitebeard pirates. So everybody's gearing up for the Marineford War. And Kuma's like, yeah, no problem. Listen, once this procedure is over and done with, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to program me to protect the ship of the Straw Hat Pirates just until one of them returns. Since, you know, he won't be able to see the growth and the progress of the Straw Hat Pirates over the years, he definitely wants to, you know, do them a little favor, do them a solid. And Vegapunk is like, what is it that you see in that boy? And Kuma mentions here that his actions have really made an impression on him. And he knows that Nika was really just a legend, but it'd be great if Luffy turned out to be the warrior that is putting smiles on the faces of the people that he saves. That's what he taught to Bonney, and that's what he believes Luffy to be. Of course, we know that Vegapunk honored this request, and before they get started, Vegapunk mentions, hey, listen, just make sure to push out your memories into an orb so that I'll be able to study them. And Kuma says, fine, really, this is just a copy of his memories, so that's interesting to know that Kuma's memories are actually not erased from his brain, but they're just copied into the orb. But he does mention that if somebody touches the orb, they'll receive the memories. However, the orb will disappear. And Vegapunk mentions that, listen, don't worry about that. He's going to keep it contained. And he even invented something so that he can study and peek at the memories without touching the orb. With a deep breath, Kuma closes his eyes and he says, wow, so this is my life. I wonder how many people have been harmed and troubled by my actions. And Vegapunk responds by saying, trouble? Living is nothing without a little trouble. Wouldn't you say that? And we see Kuma's life flash before our eyes. We see Kuma as a baby getting raised by his parents. We see him running as a little slave boy towards his friends, towards Ivankov, towards Ginny, and we see him continue to run. We see him run towards Dragon and Gyogyo, and we even see an adult form of Ginny here, and we see Kuma running towards the love of his life. We see Kuma running towards baby Bonney, and we see him even stumble after Ginny dies, but he continues to run, and he's saying that he's so grateful that Vegapunk could find the cure for his daughter. And with tears in his eyes, Vegapunk says, your life hasn't caused anybody harm, but your death will bring everybody pain. And he tells Kuma, listen, you're a hero as well, not only for Bonney, but for everybody you've ever touched. And Kuma says, thank you. And there's just one last thing. Let Bonney know if you see her again, tell her happy 10th birthday. And with tears in Bonney's eyes, of course, we just witnessed this with her. This is right after she took the adventure into Kuma's spirit orb. So we're all experiencing this at the same time, Bonney. We are here for you, girl. But that is the end of our chapter. And I'm not gonna lie, this chapter is really, really heavy. It is beautiful. This is where Oda excels. Let me know what you guys think below about this beautiful chapter. Obviously, you know how I feel about it. So definitely get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the life of Kuma. We always knew Kuma was an outlier. We knew he was something special, and we knew that Oda had something special planned for him. So guys, we gotta talk about it. We are on break next week, but we will be talking about our boy Kuma. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, hit the noti bell, because we will be dropping videos here throughout the week. This has been your boy Sifu That Guy, coming to you live. Make sure you guys grab a tissue. Make sure you guys grab a Kleenex so that you can wipe them tears off your face before you go back to work. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.